we have the wonderful, the beautiful Cambria here with us today. And she's going to talk about her experiences as a mother, as a former homeschooled child, and also a little bit about what she does and her business.
Drums, I feel stronger when I sing. 'Cause nobody's listening to me. And nobody's listening.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
All right. So my name is Cambria, and there's a bunch of different ways that you could say it. It's one of those names where I never really found a keychain in souvenir stores. So I've learned to, go with the flow and the humor that comes along with having a funny name. But my husband and I and my son, we live in Southern California. We both work in media space. He is a full-time videographer for a big Christian satire comedy company. We'll just say it. He works for the Babylon Bee. He is one of their videographers and editors. And then he is also a wedding videographer. And so what I do is I do more lifestyle content creation. Back in 2016, I had a weight loss surgery, the vertical sleeve gastrectomy, and I documented that process through YouTube, through Instagram, and through Facebook. And when that happened, there wasn't a lot of saturation in that space. So it was really fun. I got to work with a bunch of different companies that, their target audience had a lot to do with getting healthy, and in particular, morbid obesity and higher education in these areas, how we can get ourselves healthy and stay healthy, maintain that health. I was blessed to be able to, get an article with Women's Health magazine. So there's been a lot of things that have gone on in a short span of time since having surgery, and a lot of doors that have opened that, and I say this, all the time. Tell God you have plans, and He laughs. And a lot of people see that in kind of, like a negative light, like, haha, like I'm laughing at your plans. It's like, no, because you have no idea what He has meant for you. If you truly just let go and trust the Lord and understand that each day is His and not ours, each day He has a plan, yet you are to be the willing and obedient vessel for Him. And so, through all that process, I learned quite a lot about, the sensationalism that is media. I learned a lot about, really tapping into your inner peace and staying in your real life, and understanding that a lot of that is for entertainment's sake, because we have it at the palm of our hands, that a lot of life out there is not that serious as we make it out to be. But like I said, sensationalism and all that kind of stuff, and I'm going off on a tangent, but now, since becoming a mom, I definitely feel a lot more grounded in my everyday life, in what goes on in my home, not so much behind a screen. I love creating content. I love being creative. The Lord gave me that gift, but it is not something that is as much of a priority as it is to learn how to be a mom. I've had this platform for 8 years. I've had this baby for one. This is a new season of our life, and so rather than getting caught up in what feels comfortable and what I'm used to, I'm letting the Lord lead me in this new season, and being excited for what He has, rather than, stressing over the, not used to this, and constantly, white knuckling my way through motherhood because it's not what I'm used to. And so your body develops this negative reaction toward those feelings. Instead, I'm going, wait a minute, children are a gift from God. Children are a blessing. He doesn't say this because, you know, they're meant to be just all encompass anxiety and this outpour of stress on a consistent basis. And it's we and our sin and our distrust in the Lord, I truly feel, that makes being a parent so difficult, because we want things to go our way, and not understanding that He created this beautiful, precious little vessel, and gave them to us as a gift. So that's kind of where I'm at in my season of life. My husband is right there with me, where we're trying to figure out who we are in our early 30s. It's a funny thing. I saw recently there was a Harvard business study that did a graph when it came to emotional stability and handling emotional stress. And it showed between the ages of 25 and 35 is actually when we are the most stressed out and
I did
mentally.
not know that.
Yes, it was crazy. And I looked it up myself and I got kind of deep diving in that study. And it shows how our emotional maturity really peaks into our late 30s and into our 40s. And then everything is just kind of smooth sailing from there. And not everything is an emergency. And in your 20 in my 20s and in my early 30s, everything is an emergency. Okay, the
Yeah.
coupon had for Wendy's, you know what I mean, that was one day late. I was all, my budget and my coupon didn't work. The day is ruined, and these feelings of fight or flight and constant, you're forgive me, but your stomach is in your butt all the time. You're just constant white knuckling your way through life. And then to see that, you go, okay, it gets better. Okay, good.
And
Whew. Okay,
do
good.
you think that has anything to do with you're responsible for a little life and that's more prioritized? I'm important for a human being. I'm important in that child's life. Do you think that has anything to do with it?
And I do absolutely 100%, specifically for the fact that I can't push pause on this. That all my life until I've had a kid, I've been able to control anything and everything around me. Like, if I'm a click of a button, I hang up the phone. If I want to go lay down, I can go lay down. I can, I can eat what I want. I can say what I want, do what I want, all this kind of stuff. And I think it's funny. My husband's brother actually said this recently. He said, having a kid is kind of like holding 100-pound weight and not dropping it and knowing that if you like you have to hold that line. So this pressure that we put on ourselves, um and I think it can be good and bad, but good to keep these sweet babies alive, keep them safe, keep them protected, this and that, while nurturing their growth and their development is important. But learning to unselfish ourselves, it is the most selfless work I've ever done in my life, because you're not getting anything back.
Right.
They're alive and they're dependent on you for everything. And you have to know that the reward is so great in everything that you're doing. But it may not be the reward that you're seeking right now, because we're so used to being able to do something and then have an effect. Yeah,
Immediate gratification, immediate closure.
that's not it.
That's
That's
not
not it.
that's not it, girl. That's not
This is a long haul, and in moments of motherhood, it's been long suffering. You personally worked with me through this, and I'm so thankful for you. But I went through postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety, and I say that I went through, and I didn't want to identify with it. Well, I had, or it was something I have this, and I feel like when we do that, it becomes a part of our identity, and we cling to that, whether it's negative or positive. When we're told something about ourselves, it almost makes it to where we can justify certain behaviors because we're told from a professional, I have this, so
yes.
that justifies how I'm feeling, and I can't disrupt my negative thoughts because I have this. But going through that season of my life has definitely made me so much more. I have so much more gratitude for the happy days and for the new milestones my son is hitting, and that my marriage, we're feeling less like roommates than you do in the newborn stage when you're not sleeping and everything's chaos, and we're dating each other again and making time for each other. So all in due season. But I definitely understand when you're in the thick of those seasons, you feel like it's forever. You
Yeah.
do. You forever. There's no way that you think things are going to change. You don't understand. For me, I was like, why would anybody have multiple kids? This is hard. Hardest thing I've ever
Hard.
done.
It is the hardest thing that you could ever do, and I think you're doing it brilliantly and beautifully, and your whole family is blessed because of that. But I do wanna say your YouTube channel is amazing, and it has a library of videos, and just to look at your journey the whole way
Oh,
through, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because
Yeah.
I believe I've seen even before you had the bariatric surgery, you still had self-confidence, but it was what I believe you were suffering and what you were feeling everybody was thinking about you. And then you had this opportunity come up and you're like, I'm gonna do it. It can be scary. It's totally scary because it's a
Yeah.
big surgery. And we get to see how you went through those stages, how it was after. I mean, you hold nothing back. I mean, you're like, this is how I looked after. This is how I looked before. And this is how it felt. I mean, so I love that. And I don't want to forget because again, you are entertaining seniors and plenty other people. I don't want people to miss out on your beautiful singing voice. It's absolutely amazing. It's
Yeah.
heavenly. And you do a song on, and I everybody has to check this out because it's so, oh, I feel it, the passion. The song by Demi Lovato. So you
Okay.
need to subscribe to her now for sure. And I'm going to put that link also underneath this wonderful video.
Anyone, please send me anyone. Lord, is there anyone? I need someone. Anyone, please send me anyone. Lord, is there anyone? I need someone.
Yeah. Yeah. Over
You had
Zoom.
that Disney look on your face. Yeah.
We,
What about your boutique? How can
oh,
people and where do you ship to? Because I know
I
you have
should.
these amazing like
Yeah.
everywhere, like in the continental US or even to us people who are living on islands and stuff?
So I have two clients that are on the island in
No
particular.
way.
Yeah, yeah. So I ship nationally and internationally. I have a client in New South Wales, um, and that was actually really fun. So with my international clients, I kind of let them build up like a large box. So like I have a program called Stay and Save. So like they'll buy a bunch of stuff from a collection, and then instead of paying shipping multiple times internationally, I just have them do all one foul swoop. And then almost all of my orders are shipping. I remember back in the day where people that were local in my community would like come over and shop the racks, and obviously, you know, post COVID, we just don't do that anymore. It's a great way to meet your community moms for sure, and like
Yes.
let dress up, your guest bathroom. I used to do that, so I've done that for 8.5 years. I'm a reseller, so I sell a lot of used items, a lot of used goods, and now I'm getting into kind of the educational space on how to become a reseller and learning the tips and tricks. And one of the biggest things that I feel that has helped me in business is a relationship and an integrity with your clients, getting to know what truly makes somebody comfortable in their own skin when it comes to their clothing or anything like that. And it's way more important to me to establish a relationship with a client rather than to make a quick sale. And I think that's probably what has kept me in business for so long, is I see myself more as a stylist or a personal shopper rather than someone who's just selling goods for profit. You really want
Yes.
to, a relationship, and say somebody, maybe they're uncomfortable with their midsection and they want to accentuate other parts of and they're like, well, that fit me. And there's a way to say to your client, without saying it, how about, you know what? I think I have something that might be way more comfortable and you might like way more than this piece. Let's just, forget about this one. Like, I've got something better for you, or you
Right.
go and find that piece for them. Um,
And you
so
do
to
most of this work on Facebook, correct?
Yeah, so Facebook is my main group that I pull from. So there's about 2,500 members on there, and then there's close to 3,000 on my Instagram page for my boutique. And the trick of the trade is, and I don't gatekeep around here. The trick of the trade is direct messaging, just like we do with our Instacart shoppers. How much more um, enjoyable is it to order your groceries when you're talking directly with somebody and there's actually a conversation where you feel like you're being heard, your needs are being met? And so that's why that might be why my job is as stressful as it is, because I want to make sure there's enough of me to go around, and I want to make sure I have individual conversations with each and every client. which
So
is
really, guest fulfillment, that's number 1 for you. You want them to be happy, you wanna meet their needs, and they're
yeah,
going to know, like, and trust you by you spending that time. It's not just like, "Here, just take it. Tell me if
no,
you
no,
like it,
no,
return it if you don't." You're into just making
yeah.
it easy and a fun experience for them.
Yeah, and sales are important, but relationships are far more valuable with your clients. And I would much rather someone, if they're deciding that they want to be a reseller or whatever in this space, to price modestly and develop connections and relationships with people that can end up being lifelong clients. And that's just the way that I conduct myself and the way that I was that those are the lessons that I learned when I got out into the real world. Was that customer care will always be the goat, will always be number one. It will always keep someone in business if they conduct themselves in the way that they would want to be spoken to, and in a very loving, respectful way. And when it comes to women, you want to make them laugh, and you want to have fun, and you want to have empathy and make everybody feel like you are a safe place, even though
Yes.
you seller, you might be selling a good. Um, you want it to be a comfortable experience. So that's something that I always encourage people that are working in any type of entrepreneurial space, is to make sure that if you do have something, if you're selling a good, your customer feels comfortable with you.
Right.
That,
Absolutely, 100%.
that's that. Anyway,
Yes, and I just wanna validate you because you make people so comfortable in your space. Thank you so much, beautiful woman of God, for being
or
with us today. Cambria, go check her out. We love her. Positive Space loves her. The heavens are open, and the
mm,
devourer is rebuked over your whole territory, your home, your child, your family, your cars, anything you own. So we praise God for that, and we thank him. We thank him for the hedge of protection that he has around you. Thank you, Jesus. And come back and see us, won't you?
real soon.
We love you.
So we'll see you next time.
And aloha. Don't
Aloha.